Giddy up.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another special edition of the Rock Fantasy Files. I'm your host, James. Unfortunately, Steven couldn't be here tonight because he's caught up in all the Cardi B and Nicki Minaj drama that's going around on
Who?
social media. Who? Who?
Who?
Tonight we have a very special episode. We've been wanting to do this one for a little while, and we're finally getting to do it tonight. The subject is bands we like that everybody else can't fucking stand. Now, obviously, not everybody else, because I'm sure we're going to be talking about bands that have big fan bases. I know I'm going to be. But bands that, like, your buddies, your metalhead friends would rib you and give you some shit for. So we got Tony Dio in the house. We got Ovi in the house from Norway. And we got Count Ralphus, our vampire historian. Speaking of vampires, happy October, boys. My favorite
Yes.
month of the year. Fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
Seasons of the Witch is here.
Happy spooky month.
Happy spooky. So let's go with Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. Count Ralphus, you're going to kick us off. I guess we'll go with our five top, and then we'll circle back around and do honorable mentions. So give us a handful of bands that you like that other people go, that band fucking stinks.
All right, so my first one, the band, they kind of go by the initials AC. If people are talking about them, but I'll say it. Anal Cunt is the name of the band.
We're not gonna get monetized.
These guys are just totally over the top, and it's like one of the first bands that were kind of doing this sort of like noise, grindcore, noise like core, whatever you want to call it. I don't think they ever had like a specific term for exactly what they're doing, but yeah, I got to see these guys live once at CBGB's, and they were intense as hell. They went fucking bananas. And anytime you watch any video of them, they just go all out and crazy, fight with people in the crowd, and they have really offensive like song titles, and it doesn't really matter what the lyrics are because you really can't understand what he's saying most of the time, but it's just really intense, crazy shit. I was working at Caroline Records, the warehouse in Goshen, New York, for a couple of years, and they used to have a sign-up sheet when you got in. They had a music playing all day in the warehouse. There's all musicians and metalheads and stuff in there that work there, and you had to get in there and sign up right away to get a half an hour on the playing. They had like a stereo out there, and we would just play stuff that's in the warehouse. And Anal Cunt was something that was in the warehouse, and I played it one day, and people were just like crying and like, what the fuck is this? Come on, you can't listen to. And then it was at a time where industrial music was getting really big, and a couple of these guys were getting in there early every day, and they were picking we carried all this industrial and gothic stuff, and they were just playing all this industrial shit over and over again. I like some of it, but it was just like it was too much. Like, and they had like a little block of like three of them that would get in there, and it was like an hour and a half of just this industrial shit.
Oof.
So one day I got in there and I grabbed like five people, and I was just like, yo, everybody sign this fucking thing before those guys get in here. And I was like, they were like, I don't even care what gets played. I said, just don't worry, I'll play shit all day. And so anyway, I got like five blocks, and I played nothing but Anal Cunt. And eventually the supervisor came out at one point, and like he would come out every now and again of like the offices, and he'd just be like, damn, what the fuck is this? But like the third time he came out, he was like, what is this? He's like, what the hell is this? Is this music? And he was just like, they made a little thing on the sign up thing saying no more AC. So that was it. And I was like, I got it like ruined.
More air conditioner.
Yeah, no air conditioner for these guys. But so yeah, that's a band that I love, and most people find them super offensive and they cry about them and stuff. But I think they're funny as hell. And another band that's very similar, not musically so much, is Gigi Allen. So Gigi,
Yeah.
for pooping on stage and throwing it at the crowd and fighting people naked on stage and just a total fucking lunatic. No one's ever come close to being as insane as this guy. But like some of his early stuff was like straight up like punk music, and he had good bands at times. But he got to a point where he would just like show up into a town and say, "I'm coming on this date, have a band ready for me." And he would show up, and maybe an hour before the show, he would do a quick practice with him, and then he would do the show. And then sometimes those would get bootlegged and made into albums and stuff, you know. So a lot of the shit that people hear is like this noisy crap, but it's like he had one practice with him, bands that people he didn't even know and stuff, you know, or just barely knew. So yeah, he's a legendary whack job, and I love him. I like crazy people like him. And then again with the offensive lyrics and stuff. There's a song
Oh yeah.
called has a song called Legalize Murder. It's fucking like who the fuck would write a song like that? But anyway,
Man, I
so
remember. I remember the first time I ever saw anything about. I had no clue who this guy was, and I used to get. There was a guy in Raleigh used to film all the shows, and he was filming. We spoke about. I was telling Nick about that Dismember show I had on video and stuff when they played in Raleigh. Whenever you get a tape from this guy, he would fill up the rest of the tape with just some crazy stuff. And he put that famous pro shot GG Allen footage when he's in the club and he comes out and all he's wearing is cowboy boots and he's singing and he goes first song he just decks some dude in the front row and then I remember we're watching at a friend's house and we're like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then we all of a sudden he squats down, and my friend's going, oh no, he's not. He's not gonna. And then when he did, when he crapped, man, like I remember looking over and one of my buddies was under the couch cushion with it over his head. It's like, oh stop, cut it off. It
oh
was
yeah,
like, wow, you know. Yeah, it was crazy.
he's fucking amazing. I got a couple DVDs by him. He's got like documentaries. His brother did a
Hated was the
documentary
one
with it, like yeah, Hate
that
It in
one
America. That
yeah, Hated
um
was a good documentary about him. If anybody
I
wants
have
to
a whole
check out what
stack.
it's about.
I got a whole stack like this big of CDs by him, and I got a pretty good vinyl. So I didn't pull anything out because it was just like a whole bunch of shit from GG Allen. But I even have old VHSs of him and stuff. But yeah,
He
he's
has a
just oh,
shitload of GG Allen.
yeah,
Literally.
a shit
Literally.
ton, shit
Shit
ton.
ton.
Talking about shit. My next band is Guttalax. And this band primarily sings about shit. It's like every song's about shit. Check out some of their videos; they're fucking hilarious. Again,
Yeah.
very funny. But
Dude,
this
it was
band,
funny.
I've told this story. I don't know if I told it here, but it's like there. It's like that brutal, like gore grind kind of porno grind sound. But it has like the pig. It sounds like a pig man singing. Like it's like it's like that fucking oinking shit the whole time. But I would like leave the CD in my car for like 2 years. My last job I was working at, and every morning I have like a 6 disc player in the car, and I just always left that in there. And in the morning, when we worked all night, and in the morning everybody would sit out there and bullshit with each other, and I would just want to get in my car and get the fuck out of there. They're all saying goodbye for the day, and I couldn't wait to just get out of there. So I would always put in like disc number two. I'd fucking crank it, and I would slowly pull out as those guys are just all standing around in the corner, like in the parking lot. So all they would hear is just fucking crazy gore grind, fucking pulling out of the parking lot every day. As soon as I got around the corner, I'd put on whatever else I was going to listen to, normally on my way home. But they thought for like 2 years they thought it was the only CD I owned. And so it's kind of like the ain't a cunt story. But they just like, yeah, this fucking guy with this fucking pig oinking fucking band going home again. So another band that's similar to that is this band called Cock and Ball Torture. And they're they go by the name CBT. Like if you're gonna like I told people to look it up, and I'm like, oh, don't look that up. Just look up CBT, and then it'll come out. If you put up the other Cock and Ball Torture, you're gonna get all this like femdom fucking crazy porno shit come up.
Yeah, great
But
stuff.
but yeah, these guys like they sound like the vocals sound like they're underwater inside of a bong. That's like it just I can't even try to make like the sounds that they make. It's just so insane. But to me, it's like an extra instrument. because the music is like this super heavy, chunky fucking music and real heavy. And so the vocals kind of match it. You don't understand a single word, but it's kind of like the same thing. If you put Gutalax on or Cock and Ball Torture, it's like you can clear out a room if you want people to leave your house and stuff at the end of the night, and this will get fucking rid of them, But all right, my number 5 band is band that I've loved for a long time. Me and Tony recently did a whole episode honoring these guys on Almost Human, but it's the Mentors. El Duce and Sicky Wife Beater and company, Dr. Heathen Scum. These guys were great back in the day. It's like a punk rock, but it's metal. It's super offensive lyrics, very sexist and not politically correct and stuff, but I
Not at
love it.
all.
It's a very funny sense of humor. Um, I got videos by them. I got everything they ever owned, and just a real fun band to me. A lot of people can't take it. They just take it too serious. Any of these bands, if you take them serious, then yeah, you shouldn't like them. But I love them. The more it offends people, the more I think I like it. And he was on like Jerry Springer, El Duce, the singer. He was on Jerry Springer once, and they they call their music rape rock. And somebody in the audience got up and was like, I can't believe you consider your music rape rock. I was raped when I was a teenager. And then the guy El Duce stopped right there. He goes, "Wait a second, I thought you looked familiar." You
Oh,
know,
fuck.
and it was just like, oh my god. And he did that episode with Odor Rungus from Gore was on the episode with him, and they were like
Ah,
friends and stuff. And they kind of fit the same. Gore fits a lot of this kind of same stuff too, with their over the top lyrics and shit and the humor.
oh yeah.
But I love the Mentors, and yeah, that's my 5.
My buddy Cal booked a version of the Mentors at the Pickwick Pub in Poughkeepsie. Did you go to that?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was there. They gave my wife a free T-shirt to model it for their website or whatever, and they
Oh,
signed my
cool.
album. They signed my albums. I got to meet them back in the day with the original lineup. They played the Ritz. They were opening up for the Revolting Cocks. It was Al Jurgensen's other band
Oh
by
yeah.
Ministry, and I got to meet them then before El Duce passed away, and so that night was just fun to go back and talk with them, and they were great that night. I would definitely go see them again. They're still a really good band to see live. But another
That's
member had
awesome.
recently just died. The Sicky Wife Beater guy, he just died. So it's
Yeah.
just Dr. Heathen Scum now is like the only one really left from them. But they still play. They just did some tribute shows to the guy who passed away and stuff. But it's a legendary band.
Cool.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to see them in the late '90s myself. So yeah, legendary band.
Absolutely. So, Ovi, you
Yeah.
go next. Let's
All
get
right.
your 5.
All right. My number 5 is from England. Shit. How do I get it to work here? Maybe you get the right page. It's gonna be the Chemical Brothers
Oh, okay.
from England.
Don't they
And
do
and
like remixes and stuff like that?
Yeah,
About
electronica, right?
yeah, electronica bank kind of stuff. It's kind of like for a certain type of people. It's not like mainstream and stuff, but I think I found it like digging your own hole is kind of like block rocking beats. It's basically just I guess a different version of industrial, I guess, because it's electronica bank, kind of very
Right.
repetitious kind of stuff.
Like
But
more
it's
kind of techno, right? It's like techno-ish.
mm-hmm.
Sort of,
Totally.
yeah.
I gotta see if that's in the thing. I will just really just
I've
listen to
always
them. I would
thought it was
really.
techno kind of, you know,
I actually have a
dance
couple of
music.
their albums because I got them for free when I worked at that Caroline place. They're not in my record collection. They're in the garage
Well,
someplace. But
they're
They're
electronic
in the
big.
garage records.
Yeah,
yeah.
electronic big beats. Big beat is an English thing, and house. They say it's
House.
techno because techno is house. So I
Right.
guess
I
it's just
prefer apartment music, but house music's okay.
I,
at your
my
house.
bands are all trailer park music. You know,
There you
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
Yeah.
Mentors is definitely trailer park. GGL and
Definitely.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
so I got into them back in late 97, early 98, when the metal scene has completely fallen apart, at least over here. And it was like, try to listen to something else. And I got their first album, like In Dust We Trust, and it's kind of like, it's very cool stuff. But I've listened to them over the years. They are still active and stuff. But it's like things you listen to really for a while, and then you listen to something else. It's not like something with metal that you will listen to all the
stick.
time, but it's like when you get into a certain phase, you can dig other stuff.
Sure.
My number 4 is gonna be a famous American one, I guess. Ralph's favorite that he never will admit his favorite, but still, it's gonna be Tupac Shakur with Me Against the
Ugh.
World.
Oh, all right. There you go.
Yeah, I got
Oof.
all the Tupac CDs, and this was probably also back in late 97 or early 98. Or I've heard him before because of the music videos on TV and stuff, but I guess he just, because he is the kind of guy that he says what he thinks and he doesn't give a fuck what everyone else thinks. So in some regards, I respect how he was because he didn't take any shit. He just did his own thing. He didn't care about anything else. And for me, that's kind of what we do in metal too. But it's like he's not transparent, so that's probably why. But yeah, I got all his CDs and I listened to it. It's probably not what I listen to most nowadays, but I have listened a lot to it, like when I was younger and stuff. My number 3 is gonna be the Smashing Pumpkins, and especially the album Adore from '98. The same
Nice.
period. The same period. I had surgery on my eyes, so I had to lay in the dark for like 14 days, and I
Wow.
couldn't really do too much because it was painful. So
Oh
I was,
wow.
and I had this CD in the CD player because I've just gotten it. So I listened to this for 14 days straight. So I mean,
Wow.
it just got into my system, and that's been my favorite album
He
of them
couldn't
since.
find eject, so he just kept playing it.
I couldn't open. I couldn't open my
Where's the
eyes.
eject button? Where?
Yeah, that would be it. I wouldn't. It was hurtful to move. There was hurtful to do everything. I don't understand how it was, but yeah. So I got all the CDs and stuff, and a lot of people hate because of Billy Corgan has a particular vocal that people
Yeah.
don't like and stuff, and it's kind of a hate and love thing. So that's why I thought they would fit into for today because it's this. I've never heard about anybody that says that Smashing Pumpkins are okay. Either they dig them as hell, or they like it's completely shit. It's like I've
True.
never heard anyone that's like on the fence. There are
Yeah,
probably people that
I like
are.
one song by him.
I like.
The world is a vampire song. That's pretty cool.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a fucking good song. I
I can
like
tell
the
you about
first
that
two
song.
albums. I'll give them Gish and Siamese Dream, and then I tap out.
The one you're talking about is the song that the record company forced him to make. Billy Corgan himself hates that song
Oh,
because,
really?
yeah, because they wanted him to make like a more commercial, kind of like more excessive song for the mainstream they could put on the radio. So it's really, if you listen to the lyrics, it's like it's draining. It's kind of like it's like a revolt towards mainstream. If you listen to the lyrics, if you put like the vampire as the record company and things like others, so it's really a rebel
Makes
song
sense.
against
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
mainstream.
cool. Huh.
Hmm.
I just learned something.
Yeah. And my number 2 is gonna be Whoop Whoop, the Insane Clown Posse.
Whoop whoop.
Woo!
This is my favorite. This is the second deck in the cards of the ringmaster.
The
The one that
Ringmaster.
is yeah, the one that decides where in hell you're gonna go in the clown world. And it's because all they have like decks. This is the second Joker in the first deck. So all the covers they have like a principle or like a story behind it. It's really thought through. So it's kind of interesting if you like them, of course. But yeah, I started to listen to them probably in 2002 because I got introduced to them though with the Beaches, I think, and I just got all their CDs afterwards, and I got the recent CD that was released this year too, and it's just they too don't give a about things, and they talk about killing people, they're talking about digging up corpses so you won't be alone, and etc, and like Dead Body Man and kind of like Cemetery Girl.
Cemetery
And
Girl, yeah.
yeah,
That's a great song.
yeah, so they do a lot of macabre stuff, and it's kind of like they have such creative stuff, but they've been into problems with the FBI. They have been really problems with
Yeah.
a lot of stuff, but they didn't back down. They just continued, and they have songs, especially against, say, pedophiles and stuff. How to kill pedophiles, how to dispose of their bodies, so forth. How to make them suffer the most, like in different songs. But yeah, ICP for me is special because they ain't afraid of what they mean and what they say. They don't give a fuck what the record companies think or radio. They just do their stuff.
So you're a
And they're
proud juggalo.
hilarious.
You're a proud juggalo, is what you're trying
Let's
to
out the
say.
Fago.
Yeah, Prego is been
Too.
My big problem with them is like
yeah,
I
yeah.
hate fucking rap as it is or whatever, but it's like I didn't even know who they were, and they were on Howard Stern show back in the day, and they had this big beef with Ozzy and Sharon, and they
Yeah.
sat there and they slagged the shit out of
I remember
Ozzy,
that.
and I was like, who the fuck are these fucking assholes? I couldn't fucking stand them. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered. I hate their music. I hate rap, every form of rap. I can't stand it. But like that really, that's where I first found out who the fuck they even were. And I was shocked that years later that this band, or whatever, if it's a band, it's weird calling that a band to me, but it's like, that they got such a huge following, and it's like they just got bigger and bigger as time went on. They're definitely like a
Yeah,
big
Sharon
success,
Sharon didn't squash them. She said she was going to
Yeah,
squash them, and she didn't.
yeah,
Yeah,
Not
well,
at all.
more power to him. I remember when Great Malenko came out. It had Alice Cooper was a
97.
guest on it. That's the first
And
thing I ever
Slash.
heard by him.
Slash is on
Yeah,
that album too. That's how I
Yep.
got into them. Is I heard, oh, Slash is gonna be on this insane clown posse. What the fuck is this? And I remember the day it came out, the local record store down the street from me, the dude was blasting it when I walked in. And I'm like, yo, what's this? He goes, it's the Insane Clown Posse. I was like, dude, I just came here for this. It's got Slash on it, right? He's like, yeah, it does. I brought that home, and dude, I laughed my balls off through
What
that.
was the what was
Funny
the first album? I mean, that one came out, and when it first came out, it got pulled like a week later. They pulled it from the shelves or something.
because
What
of
was the deal
Disney.
with it?
It was because of Disney. They were
Okay,
like
because it was
whatever
Hollywood
label they
Records.
were on was affiliated with
Hollywood.
Disney.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because they
I
have
remember.
Ronald McDonald was suing them for the clown makeup because they looked too similar to Ronald McDonald. So McDonald's had a big. I think I heard that, but
Yeah.
What
they
was
had
the
certainly
they had
have
some
been.
Juggalo?
movie. They had some movie too, right? And I know, like I
Yeah,
seen a clip
big
of the Misfits.
wrestlers, yeah.
The Misfits were in
Yeah,
the movie, and I'm like, what the fuck are the Misfits doing in this
Well,
stupid
that's
fucking
well,
right.
movie?
I think was that the connection from wrestling? Because didn't ICP they were doing wrestling for a while,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so
they
were the
Yeah.
are
And
wrestlers.
Misfits.
so were the
They're
W
a
Misfits.
tag team.
WCW. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so were the Misfits. The Misfits were in wrestling for a minute too.
And
Mhm.
then they have
So
those
was
big
Kiss.
Juggalo fest. They have the big festivals, and I know
Yeah, it was just back
Cannibal
in
Corpse played
July.
one. Yeah, Cannibal Corpse played one. I was like, why the fuck would Cannibal Corpse be playing with them? But I guess people like them.
A lot of
Well,
motherfuckers go to that.
well, if you like weed, you like chicks with clown makeup that run around naked and don't give a fuck, and listen to like horrorcore at the same time, I guess it's your crowd.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. My number one is gonna be in a better grace of Ralph. At least it's gonna be the one that sorry, it's gonna be one that cannot be named. A certain person that has killed people
Oh.
and burned down
Ah,
churches.
Burzum.
Yeah,
Rhymes with
and
Wurzum.
and yeah, because Well, his biological name is Christian, which is ironic in itself. And he's been a Satanist. He's been a nationalist, or currently a nationalist, I guess, Satanist, and he has also been Christian and a Nazi. But now I guess he's just nationalist. But nowadays, I don't think they really make a difference between nationalists and Nazis, which for
Pretty
me
much.
is it's like it blows my mind because a nationalist and a Nazi it's two completely different things.
A nationalist, though, he doesn't even live in the country that he was born in. So, like a nationalist usually seems to be someone more like for their country. You know, he don't. He lives in like France, don't he?
Yeah, in hiding. He lives like in the bushes. He has
Wait, are we
kids and
not
wife and
supposed to
all
say
now.
the name of the band?
Well, you can
Nah,
say it.
it's on like Facebook. Sometimes if you post something about it, Facebook would fucking take it down,
Yeah, you
ban
got to
you
Really?
put
for a month.
asterisks
Or
in. If you
Yeah,
got
I've
to
been
put
on
asterisks
Facebook
in
jail
or something.
twice because of one time I just wrote a name, I got in jail, and then second time we understand you can make a mistake because I just posted a cover inside a group because they were talking about something with dissection and so forth because that was the most brutal black metal ever. I'm like, have you heard about this band? And I put on the if the lights takes us and stuff, and oh, right back in jail.
That's
Yeah, yeah,
so stupid.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Hmm.
So it's off. Don't. But I've been on other groups where other people has posted, and it's fine. I guess when you are on the what you call it in the US, when you have a spreadsheet or when you have something with the police that you easier get picked up because you have something on your record from before.
Oh, when you got a rap sheet. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the same
Huh.
thing. I have a rap sheet on Facebook, so I gotta be careful what I do.
Lame.
Yeah,
So that's my top five.
cool.
I went all out.
You certainly did. That was quite a fucking top five, too, man. What an
Yeah,
eclectic mix of
Good,
stuff.
good mix
yeah,
up.
just the route
Yeah.
worked my mind.
Good mix of stuff.
It was much easier.
We went from Tupac to Burzum.
Mhm.
That's pretty crazy.
Varg,
So,
Varg
Tony
would stab
Dio.
you. Varg would have stabbed him to death. He would have
Yeah,
stabbed
he
him.
Certainly
probably
would have.
would.
Well, you
He
know
probably
You
when I
would.
lucky,
went
you
in,
lucky he's not in Norway no more.
Hmm.
when I went into this, I was like, I can't. There's a lot of bands that get a lot of flack that I don't give a crap about. I mean, like I can't say I'm a Five Finger Death Punch fan. Thank goodness. I can't really say I'm a Nickelback fan. I don't hate them, but I'm not a fan. I've worked for them. They were cool guys. They put on a good show, but I wouldn't buy anything by them. I don't ride around listening to them in my car. But I don't know. One came to mind as soon as we logged in tonight. I was like, I totally forgot this band. I'm going to back you up on this one, James, because with your shirt, I'm going to go with Striper because I think they're a good metal band, man. Killer guitar players, great singing, great songs. It doesn't matter to me what they're singing about, really, because I mean I listen to satanic bands and I don't go and worship Satan and burn churches and stuff. So
How dare you?
yeah, I mean these guys they're really good. I mean they've got some poppy stuff, but some of their metal stuff, some of their heavy stuff is just as heavy as Priest or Maiden or anything like that, and they just kind of got a bad rap. And I think with in the social media age too, Michael, he's always being very opinionated, Michael Sweet, that is, on
Oh, I
social
know him.
media about stuff, you know, and that turns a lot of people off that even if they like say, well, they're okay, but then he'll say something and kind of turn people off. So, it's tit for tat with that. But no, Striper, I think they're a really, really good band. You got this one, James? You got it on CD with that cover?
That is.
To hell with the devil with it.
Is Striper what the guys that put like Christian hard rock on the map?
I got
Yeah,
that cover.
yeah, this is really hard to find with this cover. You can only get it through
Yes,
the
it
fan
is.
club. Yeah. But their later stuff, the stuff that they've done since they reformed, it's just got heavier and heavier. I mean,
Yes.
this sounds like what you would consider glam metal. It's a couple of songs on there that are really heavy, but the stuff they do now is like super heavy. And
Yes.
and Perry, the bass player, he's just an old friend from way back and stuff. A friend of mine
Firehouse.
helped him get in the band when they needed a bass player. So that's been really cool. I'm gonna go the next with the Darkness. A lot of people don't like the Darkness. They never liked the guy's voice. Justin's got a very unique singing voice with the falsetto, and they got really poppy songs and stuff. But the debut album by the Darkness, which is this one, this is a different cover on it, but the debut album, Permission to Land, is one of my all-time favorite records, period, from anybody. Some of the stuff they've done since then is okay. I don't even own all of their records, but that first album is just like an all-time favorite, and I dig them. I think they're great, just rock and roll band, poppy, kind of poppy, but they got great guitar solos, and it's guitar driven hard rock. Kind of throwback to 70s bands like Sweet and Slade and stuff like that a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, really cool band, The Darkness.
Black Shuck.
Black
Yeah,
Shuck's great.
because they're
Um,
all those bands are in your wheelhouse, so that makes sense. But you
Yeah.
like the Darkness.
I mean, there's I like a lot of glam and hair metal type stuff. There's no shame in that. It's kind of funny because I liked a lot of that stuff when it was new, when it was coming out, and then I got into heavier stuff. When I got into Metallica, I got into heavier music for there for a while, and I was really into that kind of stuff, the heavier stuff. Excuse me. Sinus drainage. But there's sometime like during the 90s or mid to early 90s, I was all into thrash and I got into death metal and stuff like that. So it's a lot of those later hair bands that I never even got in, or what they call hair bands or glam bands, I never really got into. But when grunge came in and I was listening to grunge all day at work on the radio, because that's what was playing on the radio, I was so sick of so much of that just whiny crap. I actually started going back and discovering bands like Warrant and stuff like that I never listened to. I was like, oh yeah, that Uncle Tom's Cabin, that's a good song, but
Yeah.
never heard anything else by them other than the hits. And it's like, wow, it's pretty good bands. But that's kind of off the subject. But the next band I was going to bring up is a band that people always think, why do you like them? They're weird. You guys know I just went to see them recently, and that's Devo. And love
All
these
right.
guys.
Yeah.
When this album came out, 1980, Freedom of Choice with Whip It. I had it on 8-track tape originally. I saw them on some TV show. I didn't even see the Saturday Night Live performance and stuff of I Can't Get No Satisfaction. I missed all of that. I saw some TV show and they were on it, like one of these news magazine shows. And I was like, that's cool. I like that. And we didn't have MTV at the time, so I didn't see the Whip It video or anything. I just went out and blindly bought this because I thought these guys looked cool. I was all into that time. I was into hard rock stuff like Kiss and stuff like that at the time,
Mhm.
Foghat and stuff. But I was big into Star Wars and space stuff, and these guys look spacey. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go out and get this. Loved it. Kept getting their stuff. I just remember people at school was like, how do you listen to that crap? And
Yeah.
everybody was moving on and getting was into whatever was popular at the time. And Van Halen was coming in and stuff like that. And of course, I got into that more. Devo was really, I liked some new wave stuff, but Devo was the only band I really got into from the new wave era that I continued to like and kept buying records by them. And I am still a fan. And I just saw them recently. I even got a piece of one of the outfits, the yellow suits when they ripped them off, and got to go back and meet a couple of the guys in the band afterwards. That's my past that I stuck on to that Heat for souvenir. Okay,
It's weird
so
to me that it's weird to me that you say you liked them because you thought they looked cool. Like to me, I thought they looked like fucking idiots. They had like pots on their head. Like to me, that was what totally turned me off. I heard some stuff by them and I thought, oh, this is Devo. Like I was surprised that it was the same band. Whip It was the one song that I knew back in the day, but I just thought they looked so stupid. I definitely wouldn't have looked at them and said, these guys look cool,
Oh,
the early stuff, the first couple records were more punky. They're more into the punk thing. And I don't know
yeah.
whether at the time if I had heard that I probably wouldn't have dug it as much as I did because Freedom of Choice was a very commercial record. It had catchy songs, all the songs had hooks to them and stuff. Um
somebody gave me a DVD for free, and they must have done a lot of the punks. It's the only thing I own by them, and it's like I watched it one time and I thought, oh, this is I can see why people like it, but I
Yeah, the
just thought
early
it was
stuff like
goofy.
Uncontrollable Urge and all the stuff like that, it's just a lot of the punks kind of went towards that. Um
There's a
next
documentary about them on Netflix that just came out not too long
yeah,
ago. It's a good
it is.
watch.
It is good. It is good. I didn't it I was a little disappointed in it because it kind of just cut off like they broke up and that was it. But they've been back together now for
Right.
years. And
Yeah.
yeah. Next up on my list is just I'm gonna go into some, and I'm not gonna get political here or anything with this, but man, people just hate Ted Nugent now, and I love Ted Nugent. I think and you can't touch those first five records, man. They're just incredible guitar work, just everything about it is just good stuff. And yeah, he mouths off a whole lot. A lot of times I wish he'd just shut up, but I have been able to separate, that from the
Yeah, of
art.
course, of
And
course.
I mean, some of the stuff he says makes sense, and a lot of it you're just like, man, just shut up. But because it goes into stuff. The thing that I hate the most is when people say Ted Nugent's a racist, because if you've ever seen
Yeah.
Ted Nugent in concert, he praises all of the classic soul and R&B artists that influenced him, especially Chuck Berry and stuff like that, Bo Diddley and all the blues guys, Muddy Waters. He constantly praises them. And that's where he came from, and he
But
grew
he
up
got shit
playing
for
blues.
gun laws and hunting and stuff because he's
Mm.
onto gun laws and hunting and
Yeah.
stuff. He gets a lot of shit for that. I
Yeah, well,
wasn't aware of what they were
he does a
talking
lot
about.
of charity work with like inner city kids, and he
That's
does
great.
work with like the Big Brother type programs and stuff like that. Try to
Nice.
put kids on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the Nuge, I'm a fan and I love it, man. It's great,
Yeah, people in the
and
70s, they loved Nugent was so big in the 70s, and in the 80s, like he didn't have as big of albums, but he's definitely one of those guys. Like once people learned his politics, that's when all of a sudden, oh, it's not cool to like him no more. So that's kind of like a perfect
yeah,
example of what
yeah,
we were talking about for this show. And I know
yeah,
it goes both ways. I know there's tons of left wing musicians that other right wing people will hate them now because like they might have liked them and had all their albums, but now they can't listen to them. And it's like it's kind of ridiculous that they can't separate the music. And it's the same thing with movies and everything. Oh, I can't watch
mm,
this movie now because this actor's in it and he voted for
yeah,
this one. But it's like fuck
yeah.
that. If you like the movie then, how do you're a poser if you say you don't like it now. So that's a good example is Ted Nugent.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with saying I don't agree with what this person's saying, but
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
say
totally.
I hate him now because
Yeah,
I never liked. I would say I never liked him, or something
yeah,
like that. So, and
yeah.
my number one is going to be a band that I've defended ever since I was a kid, and that's Kiss. There's tons of people out there that just freaking hate Kiss,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I can
and
vouch for
it's
that too.
just I've been in the Kiss Army since I was 8 years old, and I've been flying the flag for them, and yeah, I mean, Gene said kind of like the Ted thing, Nugent thing. Gene says a lot of stupid stuff a lot of times in interviews and stuff. I think that's what's turned a lot of people off in more recent years. Some of the stuff that he says and stuff, but yeah, but it's one of those just shut up and rock situations. But yeah, just great band, and anybody in my age group, they're probably one of the most influential bands. If you're a musician, you were influenced by Kiss because there's a lot of Peter might not be the greatest drummer in the world, Peter Chris, but he influenced a ton of drummers. Look at Charlie Minotti. I mean, Charlie's no slouch drummer himself, and he
Oh
wears
yeah.
a number 3 on his back like Peter
That's right.
Chris. And he always wears whatever shirt he's wearing's got a number 3 on the back, written like the Peter Chris,
Well, it,
did on the
it's
back of his.
Kiss.
And
They started with makeup on stage. I can guarantee you, haven't it been for Kiss, King Diamond wouldn't do it.
no,
Celtic Cross wouldn't do it. Norwegian Black
they
Label
weren't
wouldn't
they
do
weren't the first theatrical band, but they were the most
Mm.
successful
it.
theatrical
They
band.
they wanted to have they
Even
wanted to have four
I
Alice
mean,
Coopers in the band. That's what they were
exactly.
influenced by.
Alice kicked it off, but you got to think by the time Kiss got was getting big, Alice Cooper was mellowing out. That's during the
Yeah,
whole, You and Me, Ain't No Movie Stars songs, and he was on, daytime talk shows and stuff like that. He was kind of mellowing out when Kiss was coming in full force.
That's true.
yeah. But
But yeah,
Kiss have impact in so many genres. It's insane.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
People
funny.
me and Tony's age, like he was saying, me and Tony's age, like that. So many of us will say this is when we first got into hard rock, or just even into
exactly.
music,
Yeah.
even.
Yeah.
And the generations before us, they all said they seen the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show. With us, it's like we seen them on that Paul Lynde Halloween special. We seen
Yeah.
Kiss in
Many people did.
1976, and it's like if you were a little kid, they were like superheroes, and you didn't never seen anything like it. And it kind
Yeah.
of made you like learn what rock was and hard rock was. At the same time, Village People were blowing up, but we went the route of Kiss.
Yeah.
I got
No
into
Yeah.
doubt.
around
I
98.
did think the Village People looked cool, but I was like, they got it, they got the Indian guy and all, but yeah, but
If
no,
they
they
would have
weren't
had a guy,
Kiss,
if they would have had a guy with like a red pot on his head, though, you would have probably went the Village People
Probably,
route.
yeah, it would have been, yeah, it would have been. You're right, for sure. You
But I got into
think about how
I
many
got into
kids
Kiss
saw
in
Kiss Meets the
98.
Phantom, and then
And if
said,
there was
"Wow, that's cool."
if there was a clown in there, then Ovi would be fucking doing the YMCA right now.
Well, there were four of them.
Yeah, but
Oh yeah.
like I got into Kiss in '98 with Psycho Circus with the Second Coming. So
Oh wow.
Yeah,
because so I kind of got I don't know, the second try of the original gang. So I got in
Same.
just in the right time.
Yep.
hmm
Yeah, same
yeah,
thing. I really got into them. I first got into them with the Revenge album, and I had
wow,
no idea about the 70s shit. I had no idea
wow, that's
at all.
crazy.
Oh,
Yeah,
So I just knew Revenge, and I'm like, this is bad ass. I got that cassette and I played it to death, and nobody around me, because I didn't really have a lot of like hard rock and metalheads around me as a kid. So nobody told me that, dude, there's this whole other era that you don't know about. So it took me a long time to find out about the 70s era of Kiss. And then I found that stuff, and it was like right when I found that stuff is when they reunited. So then I got big into Kiss with
yeah.
that reunion era. That's when I bought every goddamn CD. I had every T-shirt. I had the action figures, the posters, the every magazine that came. I had all of it. I saw them on the Psycho Circus tour. I fell huge in love with them when they came back with the original guys in the second era.
I also saw
you bought all that
Paul
90s
Stanley
Kiss
played our
shit that
serial
came out.
killer in
All the
Millennium.
Spencer's Kiss stuff.
Yeah.
All that
Did you guys
Spencer
watch
shit.
the
I had
Millennium
all
Show? Did you guys watch the Millennium Show with Lance Henriksen? Millennium?
hmm
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Paul Stanley plays a serial killer in one episode.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
a
I
lot
don't
of those
remember
guys.
that.
I mean, Gene did a lot of acting, but Peter Chris was on the series Oz. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
Really? He was in
There-
Oz?
Yeah.
he just had a
Huh.
quick
Just
thing,
it was just a cameo in an
yeah.
episode. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wish
There's
I wish
something
Ace
about
Frehley would
growing up in
be.
the 70s though, and not knowing who these people were in real life. Like
Yeah.
they had this mystery about them that it's hard to explain. It's weird hearing you guys that got into it way later, and you already know them and you've seen them on talk shows and this, but there was like this weird mystery of them that no one's ever
Look,
accomplished. That I can't think
we
of
used
anybody
to
that had.
we used to take like a picture of, like, you find a black and white picture of Paul Stanley in a magazine, you take an eraser and you could erase the star off his face and you could kind of see what he looked like without makeup. I mean, this is what we did as little 8-year-old, 9-year-old kids. And
Wow.
if you had double platinum, you open up the gatefold and there's the raised print of each band member, and you could take a piece of
Yeah,
paper
yeah,
and run your pencil over the paper, and kind of do a shade,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you could
Okay.
kind of see what they look like without
A grave
makeup.
rubbing.
I mean, we were like big mystery. I mean, is who are these guys and what do they look like? And I
And it
remember
drove them
watching.
crazy. It drove them crazy too because
Yeah,
they didn't get the fame. They wanted to be seen when they were walking the streets and stuff. And people kind of figured it out and stuff like that, I guess, a little bit here and there.
yeah,
But it wasn't like they could go into Studio 54 and everybody's gonna crowd them and whatever, They didn't
yeah.
like that. That it hurt their ego, I guess, or
But
something.
I remember watching the MTV Unmasking live when it happened, and
Yeah,
it's just like
what a big deal.
my heart was about to beat out of my chest, man, watching this. Of course, it was just Gene and Paul. Then you had Vinnie Vincent and Eric Carr. Then but still, it
Yeah,
was
what a
very
big deal.
exciting. It was very exciting.
Yep. A
But
lot of
Well,
hype, and it bring them back really, like
it
that
did bring
album,
them
put them
back,
back
yeah,
on the
for
map.
sure.
Yep, they were
Yeah.
there for the '80s after that.
yeah, because Gene Simmons, he dated Cher for a while, and Cher got him to go to the dentist and straighten up his teeth and got him to like act like more proper. So Cher kind of like got him more into like behaving
She
stuff.
refined him, huh? Yeah, well,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, she did.
yeah. Yeah, I remember being a kid and seeing all the tabloid papers about Cher and her, and her new man, and it would be Gene, and he'd have shades, and he'd have a
Yeah,
mask,
thing over.
like a
Yeah.
COVID mask, like we call them now, but that's what
Yeah,
or he'd have a scarf or something around his face
yeah,
to
Yeah.
block it. So
bandanas.
yeah, bandanas, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because if you look on the photo session for the first album, and Gene smiles, his teeth are all messed up. And then when you look at him later, his teeth is suddenly aligned.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We had
that's what
fangs for a
that's what
while too in the 70s.
that's what money will
They're
do
probably
for you.
fake.
You get nice
Yeah,
teeth.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ozzy had perfect teeth too. All the fucking drugs he did, and
Oh yeah.
being such a fucking wasteoid all those years. You see him near the end, he had perfect fucking teeth.
Lemmy had good teeth before he
Yeah,
passed.
Yeah, he did. He
Yeah.
did.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
it's
had
true.
snaggle tooth when he was younger, missing
Yeah.
Hmm.
teeth and shit.
Axl Rose had fucking terrible teeth when GNR first came out. Oof, there's some pictures you fucking see him smiling, and it's like, oh my God. Is he British?
86, yeah, 86. Awful.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think we got our next topic: rock stars who had bad teeth.
Yeah,
Johnny Rotten. That's how he got his nickname. Was his
There you
Yeah.
rotten
go.
teeth.
David Bowie,
yeah.
So
He
I
had
guess
bad.
Bruce
we're going with
Dickinson.
me next.
Yep. Sorry.
And speaking of bands that you didn't know what the hell they looked like for a while, I'm going to go with my number 5 is Slipknot.
Yeah, you didn't know for a while what they looked like. That's the
You
truth.
really didn't know for quite a bit what these dudes actually look like. Um, I
They I feel like if they had came out in the early days of the Kiss times in the 70s, pre social media, they may have could have kept that a little. I mean, Ghost has done a good job with it.
Yeah, Ghost did a
True.
decent
Yeah.
job with it, even though eventually it came out. You know what Tobias Forge looks like, but the rest of the band you really don't know what the hell they look like.
Hmm.
Because then they
Yeah.
get fired.
Because they change
Yeah, they
constantly.
Yeah,
get
true.
fired. If you reveal your identity, you're fired.
That's true. So yeah, I'm a Slipknot guy. I
Okay.
dig these dudes. I especially really like the second and third album. Blister Exists, great tune. Duality, Opium of the People. Um, I dig this stuff. I know people can't stand Corey Taylor, and I know people can't stand the band in general because they're quote unquote new metal. I love the Iowa album. It's so dark and heavy. It came out at a time where I was just going through some bad shit as a young dude. My mother had just died, was kind of homeless at the time, and this album really just hit me the right way at the right time and came into my life at the right time. So I dig these dudes. I always kept up with them too. I have, all the newest shit. I really liked We Are Not Your Kind. I dig this album. Good tunes on here, man. Good catchy stuff. The latest album, I have it. I've maybe only listened to it a fistful of times, the end so far. I probably should give it a few more spins. But they always, the dudes who leave, they seem to replace them with competent guys, and I don't know. I dig it. New metal, it is what it is. So I fucking dig Slipknot.
First time I ever heard something from them was probably in 2003 when Stone Sour gave out their first album, and they toured. Like I saw them Roskilde Festival in 2003.
Oh, nice. I
Is he
haven't
Like
seen them
Corey
yet. I
Taylor, he
want
would just
to.
go among the people back then.
Yeah, I haven't seen them live yet. I would like to, but I haven't seen them yet. Here's one
I've
that's
seen him
going
a
to
couple
probably
times.
make everybody vomit in their mouth. I am a fan of the band Creed. I
Oh,
just dig these guys. I always like grunge, so these guys fit right into that. And I don't know, just the songs are good. It's catchy stuff. I really like this first album a lot. It's heavy, it's dark. There's cool fucking lyrical matter in it. Um, just life stuff. And it's just I don't know. I find these guys to be a good band. The second album sort of disappointed me. I really thought Human Clay was a little kind of meh. There's, parts of it that were okay, but it felt rushed. And I really hate that Arms Wide Open song. I remember buying
yeah.
that album the day it came out and listening to it on the bus on the way home from the mall and being like, yeah, this track's okay, that track's okay. And then hearing that Arms Wide Open thing and being like, oh, this is going to be the hit. Everybody's going to fall in love with this. The chicks are going to love it because he's waxing poetically about how happy he is that he turned his cum into people. Fair enough. It's a shit song and it's really not a great album. It was put together so fast because they got so big so quick. So it's really most of those songs are half baked, but they pulled me back in with Weathered. I like this album a lot. Good heavy moments on this, good riffs. I really like Mark Tremonti, man. Great guitar player. And you
Yeah,
don't really,
he's really good. That dude's
he
really good
is.
guitar player. Yeah.
And you really don't get the extent of how great he is listening to Creed. You got to listen to his solo shit and listen to Alter Bridge to really hear how fantastic of a musician he is. And their last full length album, Full Circle, a lot of people forget about this one. This is a heavy Creed album. I play this one at the record store quite a bit, and people are like, "Yo, is this Creed?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is heavy for Creed." Like, yeah, this is the last one. It kind of came out to little and no fanfare, but good release. So yeah, once you're done,
I saw them several times in their early period when that first album was out.
really,
I saw them on a Toys for Tots show with a bunch of bands, and then I saw them in a club when they played in a headline the club on that first album, and I was getting in these places free and stuff, so I just kind of went, and I I thought they were okay, I mean, I
yeah,
didn't hate it, but I didn't want to go out and buy it, but I didn't hate it, But
right, yeah,
they
no
were,
doubt.
and I thought Mark was a really good guitar player, and I worked for Alter Bridge a couple times, and
That's cool.
met those guys, and had some conversations with Mark and stuff, and super cool guy.
Yeah,
I heard his is it Tremonti that he has? It's so heavy, his heavy band.
yes, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
his
that's
solo band. That's good
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. But
It's like
he's a big
thrashy heavy.
metalhead. You read he's big into King Diamond and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
Celtic
you know,
Frost.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, he's a true fucking metalhead. He's a good dude.
Yeah. You gotta make a living doing something. So there you go.
Absolutely,
Could be worse jobs out there.
that's right.
I just kind of thought they always, when I first heard him, he sounded, Scott Stapp sounded so much like Eddie Vedder to me. And
Yes.
that was the only
That's
thing I
true
didn't really
too.
like. I think if they'd had a different singer, I might have would have liked the band more. I,
Well, Hugh Alter Bridge.
yeah, exactly.
Way better.
I like that guy singing. I like him in Slash. I love the Slash stuff.
Yes. Miles Kennedy is fucking fantastic.
I may have told you this story, but I was working an Alter Bridge show once, and actually, so Mark's wife was pregnant, and we had a catering. It was catered from this really good North Carolina barbecue place, and
Ooh.
she said the smell was making her sick, so they're like, can you take Mark and his wife down to the Denny's down the street? And I'm like, the shitty Denny's down the road, they want to go there instead of, they're not going to eat this really awesome barbecue. But she's pregnant, I get it, whatever. I took them down there, and I had the second Fozzy CD in my car that had just come out, and I was friends with those guys, so I knew, my friend Keith and Rich and
Y2J.
all played them. And he goes, "Oh, is that the new Fozzy CD? Can I see it? I played on this." And he's like flipping through the book. He goes, "Man, they didn't even give me a credit, and I played on this." And he goes, "Oh, there it is. It's really small right there." So like later that afternoon, we're standing out on the loading dock, and me and some guys are just standing out there talking. And Miles Kennedy standing there. I had no clue who he was. I didn't know he was a singer in the band or anything. And we were talking about the movie Rockstar. And he goes,
Yeah.
"Oh, I was in that movie." And I'm like,
Yep.
"You were?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm the kid." He pulls out of it when he wanted to go take a piss at the end. He pulls, "Oh, that was you. Okay, cool. Are you in Alter Bridge?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "What do you do?" He goes, "I'm the singer." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." I had no clue who the guy was.
Turn up the sound.
Honestly, I had never even, I don't think I'd ever heard any Alter Bridge music at the time. I really hadn't. And it was their first tour, their very first tour, because they were doing
Oh, okay.
clubs.
Yeah. So they were brand
And it was in
new.
a
Yeah.
club. It was in a club. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They were brand new.
Yeah.
They really didn't blow up till the Blackbird album. That's fucking
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So what are we? 5, 4, 3. This ain't gonna surprise anybody, but it's gonna make you vomit just as hard. I like Limp Bizkit.
Oh,
Um, we've done this. In the 1999 album list, I put up Significant Other as one of my top favorites. Whatever, it is what it is. I really think that these guys had a great 3 album run. I still go back to all 3 of these albums. The one after it, um, after Wes Borland left, really kind of disappointed me, and that's where I sort of tapped out. But these first 3 albums, I don't listen to them a shitload, but I go back to them and I dig them, and I like early Limp Bizkit. I would like to go see them live. I think it's pretty cool that
don't bring a
they're.
drone because Frank Dust will punch it down.
What's that now?
Don't bring a drone to the concert because
Yeah, I
Frank
saw
Dust
that
will punch
video.
it down.
Oh
He
yeah,
shot.
so
Yeah, they're weird, man. They're like they all of them were. Well, Fred, I mean, what's his name? Wes has always worn like crazy costumes, and the rest of them,
yeah,
they're all up there in like street clothes. But now, Fred's dressing up all in crazy costumes and stuff. So
yeah, he's got that weird gray wig on and stuff.
look, I got to tell you this. So here's my Limp Biscuit story. So I went to the Foundations Forum in Los Angeles in 1997, and that was a
Wow.
big music conference they used to do from Concrete Marketing. Used to do every year. And it was actually the last year they did it. And there was a shuttle bus that would take us down to the strip to watch bands and stuff. And so I was working for this band at the time called Drill 187, and our logo at the time, we had some shirts made to look like the Marlboro cigarette logo, but it said Drill 187, and I had that shirt on. Dude sitting across from me on the bus is wearing a Burger King logo that says Limp Biscuit. And he points at my shirt and says, "Hey, something like product placement or something, ripping off products or something." And we start talking. And he said, "Yeah, it's my band, Limp Biscuit. We just got signed to Interscope Records. Our record comes out this, in a few months." And he said, "Man, they said they're going to make us the biggest band in the world." He asked me where I was from. I said, "North Carolina." He goes, "So am I." He goes, "I'm from Gastonia, North Carolina." We just start talking. And it's Fred Durst.
Oh
And I
shit.
remember getting off the bus and telling my friend that was, Limp Bizkit, that's the stupidest name I've ever heard. They're really going places.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, he was cool, like I said, he was nice and stuff, but he
Yeah,
wasn't a rock star yet either. He hadn't.
he hadn't blown up yet. Yeah, no
Yeah, I
doubt.
mean, but that was, like I said, I think their record came out like 3 or 4 months later.
Right.
That was like April of '97. I think their record came out like July or August or something, maybe.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that was like a summertime record. I remember that first album coming out. No
The
doubt.
EP, yeah.
Yeah. That's fucking cool. So yeah,
I'm more
I know
I'm more
people
inclined
hate
with
Fred
Zack
Durst.
Wild.
Anyways, number two, I'm gonna echo Tony Dio's statement with Striper. The early stuff is fine, but I really dig what they're doing right now. Like I don't go back to these guys from when I was a kid. I got into Striper sort of kind of semi recently, when they put out the No More Hell to Pay album, and I really like just got into it. Good aggressive guitar playing. This revitalized era of Striper is just so much more aggressive, so much heavier, very power metally, very Judas Priesty. A lot of it, it's just they've been putting out consistently good albums. To hell with the devil is cool, but I like the current stuff. Final Battle was a good one, and I really dig Even the Devil Believes. And I feel the same way as Tony, man. There's bands where, you know, you listen to the fucking satanic lyrics and it starts to wear on you, and it is what it is. The Christian stuff starts to wear on me sometimes too. I go in phases with these guys. I can't listen to Striper every day of my life. I would wind up throwing all my CDs in the trash. But there's moments where I'm like, I really want to fucking listen to Striper, and then I've had enough for a while.
You know,
I
the later stuff. It doesn't seem like they don't name check Jesus and stuff as in the later stuff as much as they did in the early stuff. You know,
True, yeah, not quite as
it's more. A
much.
lot of the newer stuff has more of a positive message to it. You know.
Yes, like for example, on this album, on Even the Devil Believes, Divider, it's kind of like a political message where it talks about how they're trying to fucking make us hate each other because one side versus the other.
Mm-hmm.
Do unto others is really, you would think it's a Bible thing, but it's really just like, hey, don't be a dick to each other. That's pretty much the sentiment behind the lyrics. So I like that shit. And, I like when they kind of leave Jesus out of it and just say, hey, like, don't be a fucking jerk off. So there you go. There's my number two.
I know a religion that would like to put Jesus out of the picture.
Do what?
Well, of
What was
course.
that?
I said he might try a different religion. They also like to put Jesus out of the picture, but their foundation is pretty much the same.
My
No,
number one.
I got to say really quick on Striper is that, like, to me, they look like Poison when I first seen them. They look like girls. Like they dressed
Yeah.
and looked just like
Actually,
girls.
Ralph,
It wasn't
they
even
look.
it wasn't even like it wasn't the Christian angle that I really didn't like. I just thought this is another fucking Poison wannabe looking kind of
Actually,
band.
Ralph, they look like bees.
Yeah, they look like
Yellow jackets.
color coordinated Poison to me. Like the
Yeah.
guitar player and the singer, they both look like girls. And I thought it was kind of weird that they're like they're Christian and stuff, but they're trying to look like transvestites to me. That's what it came off as to me. So that was
Yeah,
more
they
of the
embrace
problem. I
that
had more of
LA
a problem with
glam.
that than yeah, I had more of a problem with that than the Christian beliefs or whatever. I grew up Catholic and stuff, so I didn't really care about that. But it was more just like, oh, here's another fucking glam band, But sorry, that's it.
I think if I'm going to say a glam song or something I like, because I don't listen to it much, but Cinderella's Night Songs, the song itself, Night Songs, that's a pretty good song.
That
Well,
whole
I've said
album is
before,
awesome.
that is the most. What is it? It's not. I mean, you look at that album cover and you're thinking, okay, these guys are like a total glam band, and then you put the record on and it's freaking AC/DC meets Aerosmith.
Yeah, if
You
they
Yeah.
didn't
know,
have that name, if they didn't have that name and try to go with
that,
that trend of the time,
yeah,
they could have been
it was
they definitely had a
very
grittier sound.
misleading, very misleading. I mean, they had, there was, and then again, when you talk about that kind of music, there was so many bands that got thrown into the glam thing, like a band like Tesla, which was just a good hard
Yes.
rock, and they
And
got
even
thrown
Guns N'
in
Roses, Guns N' Roses started off that first video. You had the spooged out hair and
big
everything,
spooge out
and
Yeah.
then
hair.
right
Yeah,
away they kind of became more of like an Aerosmith or Rolling Stones, like
I think it was
down the
just
whole.
that's all. It could be a whole different episode. There's so many bands
Yeah,
that could just. I mean, you look at take a punk band like TSOL. I mean, look at the album cover where their hair is all teased up and
yeah,
stuff. It makes you think that they're
Yeah.
going to be a Guns N' Roses band or something. It's
Yep.
just everybody was kind of
well,
doing
that's
that,
that's the
man.
trends, jumping on trends. I mean, they lost their entire like following when they did
Hmm.
that. They really were a different band, and they should have just called it something different. But bands don't want to give up that name that they already worked up all these years, even though they're changing their whole style. Like there's so many bands
Yeah.
that have done that too.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Discharge.
Yeah. Even
Yeah.
Tennessee.
COC to a point. I mean, they were one of the first crossover bands. They were hardcore metal crossing over, and they changed, and it's a cool thing that they did. But really, like they should have just been a different band at that point. It should have just called
Yeah,
something else.
but at least they never wore hairspray. So
No, they
No.
they they went and they didn't jump on a trend that was super popular. They jumped on. They just changed because that's where they wanted to go, and
they
I totally
changed
get that.
and they
Yeah,
created their own sound. You
yeah,
It's
and
know,
it's
true.
not like they made billions of dollars doing it, jumping on a trend or something. They did something that was like a newer sound that was going on at the time. But
well,
I always thought they should have changed their name, But
So Tesla is the one that has
James
it
is
coming
gonna
at you live
yeah
because
yeah James is
Metallica
gonna.
really like that song coming at you live.
I
So
remember
that's the reason
the
I heard
Cliff
the
'em all.
Tesla.
They're listening to that in there. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And the
yeah.
Cliff and Mother listen to that shit.
Yeah, that's the reason why I know Tesla what Tesla is.
I was gonna say, James, I'm not surprised you're pulling this last band out because I actually mentioned them earlier. Yeah.
Got to go with Ghost for number one. I
I
like
got
People
shout.
Eli.
hate. There's so many people that hate them. Yeah,
I know.
I don't
I
see the
know.
hate, man. I mean, I think this it's good for what it is, and
But that
It's
I have
that.
album
no
was
problem.
good.
But
See, here's the thing.
that first
That's
album's
good.
still the best one. That
Yeah,
sounds
because
like
it's a
the
Rise Above
long
record.
lost Blue Oyster Cult record.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. First album is my favorite. I remember when this came out because I'm a huge fan of most things that come out on Rise Above Records. I really love Rise Above. I love Lee Dorian. I think he does a great job. Former Cathedral singer. I
Hmm.
think he does a great job at releasing fucking really cool Doom stuff. And I remember this coming out and being like, oh, it's a Rise Above thing. It's got to sound like Sabbath. And I remember sitting with it, listening to the YouTube stuff, and being
I
like,
have it.
this doesn't sound like Sabbath really very much at all. Maybe a riff here and there, but this really doesn't sound like Sabbath at all. And it turned me off at first, but then something about it kept me going back to it.
Hmm.
And I was just like, fuck, man, those choruses are catchy. This is actually really good. So I wound up buying the CD. I got the vinyl later. I just thought this was a fantastic album. Now, when the second one came out, Infestus, um, I was
I
a
was dis
little
I was disappointed in that
same. I was
big
disappointed with
time.
this one at first. I kind of like forced myself to like it. Like I just played it over and I'm like, there's got to be
I
something I'm
couldn't.
missing. And I wound up just playing it over and over and over again to the point where I started to like it a lot.
Hmm.
But it took a while because I feel like the guitars started to take a back seat to everything,
Yeah,
and
they
it
did.
started to turn into vocals, keys, drums,
Yeah.
way
Hmm.
more poppy, no emphasis on the heavy stuff. But again, the more I played it, the more I enjoyed it. So I started to like this one a lot. and I kept up with them. I like Meliora. I like the EPs that they put out. The If You Have Ghost EP is actually pretty goddamn cool, and Dave Grohl plays drums on it. Um, I'm pretty into this one, and I really like the newest album, Skeletor,
All right.
because the guitar comes back to the forefront on this album.
Hmm.
And
Hadn't heard that one.
it's got a big time glam vibe to it. It's, for me being an 80s baby, there's a lot of parts in this that just sounds like AOR glam kind of stuff on it. And the lead guitar in this record really calls to mind, for me personally, John Sykes era Whitesnake, which is crazy because he died like a few months before this album came out.
I
So
need to
I
listen to that then.
really, for me, this is the second best Ghost album because the guitar is really, it's back and it's up front and it's in your face, and the songwriting on this is cool. Not as much with the goofy Satan stuff throughout of it. There's more personal lyric stuff going on, which I dig. And yeah, I really like the fucking new album a lot. I keep going back to this one. It's a good listen.
Stay
So
Hey
tuned.
that's my
James,
number
have you
one. I
heard
like Ghost.
James, have you heard the new group? It kind of reminds me of Ghost. It's Dogma with the chicks that wear the nuns robes
The
and they
chicks with the
play.
nun thing, yeah, I checked them out. It's okay.
I could see them being the next Ghost, possibly. Because I
Eh,
predicted that Castle Rat might be the next Ghost because they're getting really popular. I was going to go see Castle Rat tomorrow night, and it's sold out
Yeah, yeah,
again.
yeah.
They played the same venue in Raleigh twice, and they've sold it out. I don't have a ticket, so I'm not
yeah.
going.
Yeah, they're starting to get really big, and I'm a Doom fan. I really don't like them that much. I kind of feel like, and here's where people are going to fucking tear me apart in the comments. I feel like there's a lot of bands that have a chick singer just because they feel like it's going to help them to have a chick singer. And I feel
She's
like
good
that's
though.
one of those
She
bands.
she plays guitar too. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Understood, but I just feel like the material isn't all that fucking great, man. And
I'm
that's
not that
just a
familiar with
personal
their
thing.
stuff. I've listened to a little bit of it. I just kind of wanted to go see them because I feel like they're going to explode. They're going to be a big band. I would say, hey, I saw them in a club.
Yeah.
But whatever.
No, I could definitely
Dangerous
see
and
them
Torch
getting
and
bigger.
I saw Ghost when they were still doing, smaller venues. So that
Yeah,
was
I
kind of
saw
cool.
Ghost on their first American tour when they only
Hmm.
had the first album out. They played the Bowery Ballroom in New York City, which only holds like a few hundred people. That they could never do that now. They'd have to play it for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing
Yeah,
arenas. So there you go.
yeah,
Arena Rock.
absolutely. All right, so we got honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's start with Count Ralphus with the honorable mentions.
All right, so Primus is a band that most people like on Sea of Tranquility. Seems like everybody hates them. I get
Really?
if some I get if some people, yeah, and it's weird because a lot of these guys are big prog guys, but they don't even consider them prog. I think they hear little bits of stuff and they think, oh, they're a funky slap bass kind of band. Or I could see people having problems with him as a vocalist, and I think that was maybe the one thing that kind of held them back as far as people liking him as much. But I think he's got a unique voice, and it can be. It's nothing special about his voice, but it's definitely like it's Primus just from his voice sometimes.
Oh
But
yeah.
there's so much more to them than the little bit like the few big videos they had back in the '90s or whatever. I think people judged it all just on that. But I mean, they recently toured doing "Farewell to Kings" by Rush in its entirety. There's so much more to that band, and just such great musicians. I think they're underrated, but at the same time, some people love them, and then other people won't give them much time of day. So I don't know. They're one of those bands that I like them. A lot of people I know don't like them. Another one is a
Primus
newer one.
fucking rules.
No, you're supposed to say
Yeah.
Primus sucks, but
Yeah, you're supposed to say
and
Primus
then we
sucks.
know that
God damn, man. What a good band. Pork Soda is
yeah, that's
such a
just good.
good dark album.
I liked Frizzle
Yeah,
Fry.
Frizzle
yeah, me
Fry's
too.
great too.
I
Pork
got into him
Soda's
right away
fucking
because
read
I was
some of the read some of the lyrics in Pork Soda, dude. It's dark.
yeah, they got a weird sense of humor with their lyrics and stuff, and I got into them right away just because I was a huge Possessed fan, and Possessed breaks up, and we're like,
Yeah, there
oh,
you go.
Larry Lalande's got this new band coming out, and we were like right away wanted to hear it. And we were like, what the
Yeah, Blind
fuck is
Illusion,
this?
man.
Do you know this?
We were
This is
just like
Blind
Yeah.
we were like, what?
Illusion. Larry
Yeah,
Lalonde and Les Claypool in a thrash band together.
yeah.
Yeah,
Really cool. Yeah.
that's good shit.
And Les Claypool, he tried out for that Jason Newsted position, and they said he was
Yeah, he
too
did.
good. They like, he's too good for like we don't need a guy in there that's going to be a virtuoso. Like it's too good for Metallica or whatever. But
There's a lot of albums that came out in the late 80s, early 90s. Like I can't remember if it was like some Metal Blade stuff or something where the studio people would be listed and Lester Claypool was listed as like a studio guy, like a so I don't know if this I mean that's a unique name. So I'm wondering if I think he may have like been, post engineer and stuff like that on some stuff, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah.
when they toured with Slayer on the final show at Madison Square Garden, it's supposed to be their final New York show. Still is, I guess, right now at this point because they played Hershey Park recently, but they haven't played New York again. But when they played that show, they were selling special shirts. It was Primus, but it was the Possessed logo as Primus, and I had to
Saw
buy
that.
it. It was
I
like,
Oh,
wanted
that's
one.
cool.
yeah, I got that
Yeah,
shirt.
we were backstage hanging out when my friend was doing magic for the Slayer guys and all the Primus guys. And I saw one of the guys wearing the shirt. I was like, where did you get that shirt? Because they got them out front, but by then this was the after show, so I didn't go. I would have bought one. That was really cool, man.
That's awesome.
So the next one is a fairly new one. Is a few months back. I had a chance to see Blackmore's Night. So it's Richie Blackmore and his wife Candace Knight.
Oh, okay.
They had this on for years and years playing this like folk music, and I kind of just ignored it. This ain't gonna be something I care about, And then I they played a few shows in the area, and then I realized he was turning 80, and they announced another show that they were coming back in my area at Bethel Woods up by the original Woodstock there. And I went and I was blown away. I thought it was such a great show. I thought it was a lot of fun watching them. And I was listening to them all week leading up to the show, trying to get like familiar with them. And I started really liking it. I was like, it's like you got to be in the mood for this kind of stuff, but it was actually really good. And I still haven't went out and bought any of their albums, but it's like a lot of people just will like not even give it a time of day. And I think it's pretty cool.
I remember it well.
It's Renaissance music. I mean, that's what it
Yeah,
is. It's
it's like this
folky
weird
Renaissance.
folk.
I loved that first record when it first came out. You know who turned me on to that first record was King Fally from Deceased. He's like,
Hmm.
you need to hear this. You'll dig
Wow.
it. And I got it and I loved it. And I remember was driving home one night from a show and I had a friend of mine, he and his wife were in the back seat of the car and I'm driving and along or whatever, and that's what's playing. And they're like kind of passed out. It's kind of, it's about 1:32 in the morning. And I just remember hearing the girl go, "What is Dio listening to?" And the guy goes, "I don't know, but it's driving me fucking crazy."
Yeah, you definitely got to be in the mood for it, But she's got a beautiful voice, and
She does, man. She's
yeah, they
great.
got a good
Yeah.
flow to their music and stuff. It's definitely unique, and I don't listen to anything else like it, But seeing it live, I thought was awesome. If I ever have a chance again to see it, and I see they just announced like another handful of shows they're gonna do, and at 80 years old now, you never know when it could be the last time. So
Yeah.
I was just really happy
Yeah.
to finally see him on stage with a guitar. Um,
Yeah, man.
yeah, my last one will be Roger Waters. So he fucking talks shit about Ozzy recently. He's always being a political, talking about like the Ted Nugent thing. He's kind of like the same thing on the left side. He's like just always getting his opinions on everything, and that's fine, you know. And I loved his albums. I love Pink Floyd. I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, and a lot of people don't like the Roger Waters solo stuff. They don't like the David Gilmour solo stuff. They just like Pink Floyd, and they don't want to hear nothing else. But I love the Roger Waters albums, and even the last album he did, I thought was amazing. And I seen him live 8 times, and they were always mind blowing live. And yeah, this is like a band that people dismiss because it's not Pink Floyd, even though when you see him live, he does tons of Pink Floyd songs. But I love the solo albums by themselves. So that's it. That's my honorables.
Awesome. Ovi, you
Yeah,
got some more?
I do. I do. Well, this is not much as what you call it, a particular artist, but it's like if I talk with my friends I don't really have any people to talk about this genre, and it's like it's basically just classical music in itself. This is Debussy,
Oh,
best of.
okay.
But I like so much classical music. I got into it probably like in the early 2000s. I had a girlfriend at the time, and she listened to a lot of classical music. And I found out like it's really good for your head if you're like in a stressful place, or if you just have a lot of shit going on, and just sit down and just ease out with classical music. For me, it's like it really works good. But I don't really have people to, you can't like really talk like in depth about classical music to like a regular person. You have to have persons that are into the thing. So it's
Sure.
it's like I like Bach, I like Mahler, I like Haydn, Dvorak, Tchaikovsky, and Schubert. I like a lot of stuff, but it's like I can't really talk or put. You can't like just put on a classical CD when you get visitors and stuff, because yeah,
No.
you gotta have this certain type of people that likes that stuff. So I thought that was perfect for today's topic, which what
Yeah,
you love.
You left out the
totally.
best one, Wagner.
Yeah, if you
There
if
you go.
you into political, so yeah. Um, and my number seven is gonna be REM. I like
Oh,
their
okay.
80s. I like their 80s stuff, like from 83 to like the IRS years. I just put this one out because it's like of all the stuff, but I really like their 80s stuff before they become like before everybody hurts.
Before losing my religion.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Cliff
Then they're
Burton
really
was a big
cool.
REM fan.
Yes, he
Cool.
was. Yes, he was.
Cliff Burton was a big REM fan.
Yeah, because I mean the first time I heard REM was on Independence Day, the movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there
It's
you
the
go.
end of the world as we know it.
Yep.
Hmm.
And I feel fine. That was the first time I heard that stuff, because before that I've only heard Everybody Hurts or Monster, or like Losing My Religion, and then I got to hear this song is the end of the world as we know it. I thought it was like really cool, catchy song, and then I did some research and stuff, and like it's REM. No, that can't be REM. REM sucks. It's fucking shit. It's fucking yeah, and then I went to record store and they put on the CD, and I just had to, I had to swallow my pride and just okay, all right, it's REM. So that's
I
like
remember, yeah, I remember hearing Driver Aid on the radio when I was a
yeah,
kid, and I always thought that was a cool song.
yeah from '84. Yeah, it's a good one.
You ever see the
My number,
family? You ever see the Family Guy where he does that end of the world as you know it? You ever
He
see the
had a
version he
stroke
did?
Yes,
and he's
Oh my
singing
god,
it.
rules.
that's so fucking
Yeah,
funny. He's
it
just putting all
rules.
his own lyrics in. His lyrics were like it had that flow just like the song does, but it was just like about eating a hot dog or whatever. I forget what he was singing about,
Gotta
but
eat a hot
that was
dog
so
in it.
funny.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was
It's
so
funny.
fucking funny.
yeah, so that those '80s albums, they are really cool. But I can't really. If you start to talk about the IRS years with regular people that like REM, they will like, "What are you talking about?" They will not
Mhm.
understand at all, because you
Yeah,
mentioned the '90s and the 2000s stuff. So
right.
that's why I thought it was fitting for this topic, because I hated
Absolutely.
it so bad, because and then I found out they actually are good when in the earlier years. My number 6 is gonna be from Ireland. It's gonna be the Cranberries.
Okay.
I always liked Dolores's vocals, and I remember "Zombie" was a song that went on TV all the time back in the 90s.
Oh yeah,
About
I
like war.
really like that fucking song. That's
that's a
a
good
good
song.
fucking
Yeah.
It's
song.
about the Bosnian wars and stuff, and it's kind of like, yeah, I got like into them. I got like their second album. This is the first one. Everybody
Right.
else is doing it, so why can't we? And yeah, Dolores has got a really good vocal, and there's no band in the world that sounds like Cranberries. I
That's
like
Yeah.
true.
her solo albums too. Her solo albums was really good. I wish she would have been with us for a longer time, but
Yeah.
yeah, she drowned in the tub.
Damn, that
Oh, is
sucks.
that how she passed?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. What was she
hmm
all fucking high and fucking fell asleep in the tub?
I think it was alcohol, and she had
Ah,
struggled with, yeah, with the Irish. They struggle with a lot of depression and stuff, and then
yeah.
she was, I believe it's alcohol and maybe pills and stuff, but she fell asleep in the tub and was probably so enabled to. She wasn't enabled to move. She probably was aware she was drowning as well, but she couldn't do anything. So
Damn.
because they found her like
Wow.
quite a few hours later, so. Yeah, I
Ah,
remember it was on the news for weeks afterwards because we didn't get
yeah.
a cause of death.
Right.
Like before, the family didn't get the cause of death until like
Yeah, I don't
the
think I ever heard.
Yeah,
yeah.
same.
I
Damn.
thought she committed suicide. I thought it was a suicide, but I
No,
don't know.
she was featuring because there was a metal band that's going to cover Zombie, and she's going to lend her vocals. So she's been in the studio talking with them, and probably been on a bender, and then just would going in the next day to do the Zombie song with them. I really don't recall what metal band what it was,
Was
but it
that
was
Bad Wolves?
probably.
I think that was Bad Wolves, right? That's the
Yes,
kid
yes.
that fucking sang for Divine Heresy, his other band.
Yeah, right. So she was
Yeah.
going in the next day to record the vocals, but she never came around. So,
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was like a week after she died that cover came out.
yeah,
Yep. Yeah, that was Bad Wolves.
yeah. So that was my eighth, or genre was number 8, and then 7 and 6.
All right. Tony Dio. You got
I'll
Don.
breeze through a couple here. Yeah. Bay City Rollers.
Oof.
SATAY. Yeah. Yeah.
SATURDAY. Night.
Yeah. 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 I can't spell, so you can see I'm
No, you
tired.
can't.
Yeah. But I used to watch these dudes on Saturday mornings. They used to have a Bay City Rollers show that used to come on in the late 70s, early 80s. Saturday morning, and they played all their songs. And I used to put the tape recorder in front of the TV and record them. So I've always liked these guys. Cool. It's the only thing I have by them is the greatest hits. I've actually thought about picking up some of their albums. I always see them for a couple bucks when you're digging in, vinyl crates
Yeah,
in the
they're cheap.
stores. But
They're cheap.
yeah. So this is going to turn into what odd shit is in Tony Dio's collection. All right. So the first two Michael Bolton records. I'll go to bat for these guys. Michael Bolton, great
My
freaking
grandpa
singer.
liked him.
He turned into a crooner because he did his third album. These albums are hard rock records.
Yes.
More in the vein of stuff like kind of a cross between like whatever the Billy Squire or something like that. It's kind of what I would say he was kind of like.
Bruce
Bruce
Kulick.
Kulick from Bruce Kulick. Yeah, Bruce was in this
Blackjack.
band, Blackjack, with him. And
Yeah, but so he
so I
wrote.
mean he did a third album. The third album was partly hard rock, and then he did a cover of Dock of the Bay, the old Otis Redding tune. And I think he had a hit with it, and it was like, okay, you can make more money doing this than you ever do playing hard rock, and that's the route he
Yep.
went. So, but yeah, these first two records are really good. And
Michael Bolton was in like in the session for Creatures of the Night with Kiss.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
involved
he
there too.
That's right.
co-wrote some stuff. Yeah, he co-wrote Forever. Of course, that's a ballad. Okay,
Yeah.
last one I'm gonna throw out. I gotta throw something in from the glam hair band, whatever you want to call it. Freaking Nelson. The fucking debut
That
record from
first
Nelson.
album is so good.
Man, I have this on vinyl, believe it or not, as well. This
Wow.
great record. And I'm gonna tell you how I got into it. Never paid attention to them when they were all over MTV, and I'm never paid knew all I knew was Ricky Nelson's kids, and they looked like two chicks. Never paid attention to them. Working at Sanctuary Records, they would get stuff sent to them all the time to try.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe you want to consider releasing this in the States. This is
yeah,
an album. This came out in 1996 by Nelson, and it's called Imaginator, and it's a concept record. Well, I took it one day, just took it, threw some stuff in a box, driving home, had an hour drive, threw it on. Was like, wow, this is amazing. It's a concept album about the media and television controlling people's minds. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
yeah.
Very.
And it's not a love song record or anything. Matter of fact, it only came out in Japan because their record label refused to release it in the US. They're like, this is the height of grunge, 1996. They're like, nobody's going to buy that. But in Japan, they will. So they put it out. So I thought it was a great record. So then I go to the record store, and you can go in and you could buy this for $1. So I'm like, okay, I'll check these guys out because they sound really good. Thought and I love AOR. I love Journey and stuff like that, melodic
Mhm.
rock. So this I thought it was great. And really what sold me on these guys, I went to see M3 one year, and they played on M3 about probably 12 years ago, and they were the best band all day. I mean, they sounded amazing. They could do the vocal harmonies. They had a killer band. They had Mark Slaughter was playing with them at the time, playing guitar, and they had this guy named Howie Simon who's played with like I saw him play with Alcatraz once, Graham Bonnet, killer guitar player. They just had a just superb band, and I was sold. I was like, yeah, these guys are great. So I'm a Nelson fan now. I'd go see them. I'd even go see them do their thing where they do a tribute to their father's music. I think that would be interesting to see because he had some great songs.
Yes, he did. Rick Nelson had some fucking great old school fucking
Garden
oldies.
Party, man, cool rock
Yeah,
and roll song. Yeah,
no doubt.
yeah,
Hello, Mary Lou. Fucking
yep,
awesome. I love that
yep,
stuff.
yeah, man. Like Happy Days.
Absolutely. So I guess we come back to me. I wasn't
Mhm.
prepared to do any extra ones, but I'm gonna go with Nickelback. They had a 3 album run that I actually like. From Silver Side up to All the Right Reasons. I like those 3 albums. Um,
Bullet,
on
Bullet rules, man. Great song.
Bullets, yeah, Side of a Bullet's a great song. That's actually got a Dimebag Darrell guitar solo on it. And if you get the special edition of The Long Road, they do a cover of Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, and Dimebag Darrell plays a lead guitar solo on that as well. Diamond Vinny were fucking friends with those guys and used to go see him play all the time. That's kind of what got me into them was, reading interviews with Diamond Vinny where they're, oh, fucking Nickelback are the shit, man. You got to check those guys out. And that made me check out Nickelback. And I actually like that 3 album run right there from Silver Side up to All the Right Reasons.
And nobody was
Um,
writing strip club songs during that period, and they came out with that. What's that song that they've got? The strip club song. I don't know the name of it, but I like your pants around your feet song, whatever.
yeah,
Uh,
that's
to
guess
figure
us
something to figure you out or whatever. Yeah,
I think it's Figure You Out.
when you go to a strip club and a chick's dancing to that song, it's badass. I've experienced that. It's pretty fucking
I'm sure
amazing.
it is. I'm sure it is. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to you and I next time you come up to New York, we're gonna have to hit a strip club together.
yeah, man. We'll
Make
do
them
it.
dance to Nickelback.
Yeah.
You
Um
guys, how do you guys get past the chlorine, what do you call it, stink in the strip clubs? I'm just, it
That must
kills.
be that must be something in Norway, man, because I don't smell chlorine in the strip clubs here. Yeah, it's
In
mostly
Confession,
Area, yes.
I've never been to a strip club.
Oh, you haven't? I
I've
was in
never been.
wow.
Tony Dio's got to come up to New York and
Yeah,
Connecticut and take me out to a strip club.
y'all got all
Well,
new
good
ones there.
dancers. no doubt about it. But it was like that Korean thing was like just ripped through my nose. I guess it was sanitary or whatever.
Yeah, I've
That was
never been.
it was
So
that was the pool in the special room. They had a pool in there probably.
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, that
It
was in the
cost
champagne.
you more to go in
Yeah,
that
the
room,
champagne
Obi.
room. Yeah. Next after that, I guess I would go with Rage Against the Machine. Um,
Oh, people.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
Hey
Obi's
man, I
got.
like that first record. I liked it when it came out. I haven't listened
Mm.
to it in ages.
I know their politics suck and all that stuff. I really don't agree with any of their politics at all. But I like the band so much. I really feel like there's not a bad album. I dig all their stuff. It's just right moment, right time when they came out for me. I dig everything they've done. I really love that rhythm section of Tim Comerford and Brad Wilkes. I think those guys are fucking great. And I think Zach's a great rapper. Is he raps about stuff that I kind of really don't give a fuck about for the most part because he's very political. But I think he's a great rapper, great band, and I've met Tom Morello and he's a fucking nice guy. So fair enough. Rage
Did
Against
you
the
ever
Machine
notice
will
that
get my
Brad?
next one. What's
Did you ever
that?
notice that? Did you ever notice that Brad Wilkes when he's in Rage, he has no mounted toms on his drums. He just has two floor toms, a snare, and a kick drum. No
I have
mounted
never paid
toms.
attention to that.
He may now in later years. I didn't pay attention when
Right.
I actually worked. I worked at one of their shows. I didn't pay that much attention. I went out and watched a little bit. That was the last tour they did where Zach had to sit down the whole show because he had like sprained his ankle or whatever.
He broke his foot. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. From jumping up and
Yeah.
down as
But
he
I just
keeps.
remember back in the day, I thought that was so crazy. It's funny I didn't take notice of that when I saw him the last time. I used to think that's crazy. He has no mounted toms. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
just odd.
I did always notice that he had a smaller kit than everybody
Well, I
else.
guess because he doesn't do any rolls like that. He just small
Yeah,
boom, 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 boom. He
but
has
he
what
always
he had.
makes that
Now
little
he
kit
had a
sound
full
big.
kit. He had a full kit in not Alter Bridge. What's that band they had with
Audio
Christopher
Audio
Slave.
Nail?
Slave.
Audio Slave. Yeah,
Yeah.
he had a full
And
kit
I
then.
fucking love Audio Slave. Audio Slave is fantastic. All three of those albums are great. I guess what's a band? I guess Poison will be the last one that I say is band that I like that everybody else can't fucking stand. I love Poison, man. That's good get down fucking drinking
First
music.
album. First album. I love it. Yeah.
First album's
They had a
fan.
few other
I
songs that
like
I
all
thought
their
was
shit.
cool.
I like all
I'd
their
never
shit.
heard that record that they did with Richie Kotzen on guitar. And then I got into Winery Dogs and I
Yeah.
became a Richie Kotzen fan and I loved the record he did with Adrian Smith. And so I was in a shop one day and I picked up a copy of that album. It's called Native Tongue. I picked it up and it
Yes.
was like two or $3 on CD. And I was listening to it and I was like, wow, that sounds like a Richie Kotzen record with Brett Michaels singing on it.
It really
I mean,
does.
it doesn't sound like Poison at all. It's a
Yeah.
really good record, actually.
Yeah. The album after that's pretty good too. They got that dude Blues Saraceno is
Mm-hmm.
on that one. That's a pretty fucking good record too, man. But I
That when
just
that first record came out, man, it was just fun party rock. I remember just going to
yeah,
I was in high school, man. Everybody you go to parties and everybody was playing that record. You'd
yeah.
hear Master of Puppets one minute and freaking Poison the next in the same freaking party, man. It's crazy.
Ralph would love that.
Ralph would have been
That
going
that
nuts.
absolutely never happened in my area. Like in the parties I went to, like we went to like the heavy metal puke parties. If someone actually tried to put a Poison album on, it would get smashed, and we'd fucking throw it at you and make you cry, fucking picking up the pieces. Like it just didn't mix. It's crazy to me, like how people in different areas though did grow up like liking everything and
Yeah.
stuff. Like the group of people that I hung out with, it was like it was such a strict line. We just like none of that shit could come in. I remember having a girlfriend and I gave her like fucking 30, 40 albums of just like the early Motley Crues and the early Rat albums, just because I was embarrassed to have it in my collection. Like I didn't want my friends that I was hanging with at the time to like know that I even had this shit, you know. I regret it because some of that shit's worth a lot of money now. But
They'd be in your
I just
garage now.
no, I would it would have been in that would have been the better thing is just to put it with the garage albums. But
Yeah.
you know, I even gave away like Twisted Sister albums, stuff like that. Like that's how like
Ooh.
strict I was being at the time. But I ended up getting a lot of that stuff later on again. But a lot of it I just never got back in my
Dude,
collection.
the North Carolina parties, it would be like I said, Metallica, Poison. You'd hear Steve Miller Band, the Eagles. You know, it's just whatever, man. Everybody's just hanging out, having a good time. You know.
That CD or LP you posted on the Emporium the other day, Icon, I think it was.
hmm
That was good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Love that first album, man. It, like I said, not in my post, took me years to warm up to that second one, but that first album's full on metal album, man. That was a band.
Yeah.
If they were total glammy, looked like they were from space or something with their costumes and stuff, but their music was like heavy, man, heavy metal. You know,
No
that
doubt.
period.
So yeah, we
All
just
right,
did a
this was
rock
fun,
fantasy
boys.
episode, a rock fantasy episode where we talked about fucking Nickelback, Nelson Boys, fucking Limp Bizkit, fucking Striper, Poison. It's like I
Mentors,
hope.
Tupac.
G.G. Allen.
Well, my choices were good. These guys, we should be canceled after this. I think we should be canceled after this. Tupac and fucking Insane Clown Posse.
Hey,
He said
man.
my picks were good. Your picks were fucking awful.
So
Yeah.
don't forget to unsubscribe to the Rock Fantasy Files and don't hit the like button.
Yes,
Don't hit
that's
the like
right.
button. Unsubscribe. Don't hit the like button.
That's right. And don't tell us in the comments bands that you like that everybody else thinks are fucking shit. So please don't do that. This has been a
We
cool
don't care.
episode.
Hell yeah, man. It's fun.
Absolutely. Tony Dio, Ovi, Count Ralphus. Thanks for joining tonight. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. We fucking love you guys. And we will see you, I guess, next week. We'll figure out another topic for next week.
Mm-hmm.
So, good night from the Rock Fantasies.
Sayonara. Adios.
Ciao.